Oh, that's right, Guilty Movie Pleasure fans. Welcome to Popcorn Talks, Guilty Movie Pleasures, where this week we are talking the greatest Ryan Reynolds superhero movie of all time. You've all seen it. You've all loved it. I'm talking about Green Lantern. I can't get through it. This movie is not good.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Guilty Movie Pleasures.
Oh, yes, I couldn't get through it. I tried with a straight face to continue the joke that this is the greatest Ryan Reynolds superhero movie ever, but clearly it is not. Welcome to Guilty Movie Pleasures. I'm your host, Ben Begley, and with me, as always, is my good friend Cam. You want to introduce yourself?
Cameron Louis at The Only Camshaft, Twitter, Instagram, Ben. The Green Lantern?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Just before fans on there start messaging, I almost unsubscribed when I saw the title for this shit. You know who you are. You said it last week. Not our fault. We put a vote out there because we were thinking of other DC superhero movies to just keep going with the kind of one more week of the Batman versus Superman train.
Yeah.
And we had Batman from the 1960s on there. Mm-hmm. We had Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, which would have been hilarious.
That would have been a great one.
And then we had Green Lantern and Something Non-Superhero. Something Non-Superhero almost won. But guys, if you really care, don't vote for Green Lantern next time.
40%.
40% of people.
The Green Lantern.
40%.
Which is probably higher than its Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes, it very much is.
Right?
It's higher than both that and Batman v Superman's Rotten Tomatoes. Here's the thing. So while we talk about the show, if there is anybody in the live chat, Zach is going to be paying attention to it because I'd really love to know if there are because I'm not big on the Green Lantern comic. I'm more of a Marvel comic guy, but I love Batman and Superman and that. Green Lantern's kind of outside my wheelhouse, so I want to admit that from the top. And if there's anybody who's a super fan that's in the live chat or just watches this show later, please comment and tell us how this is either true to the comic or bastardizes the hell out of it. I want to know specifics. Yeah. And then also, if there's anybody out there in the chat or watching it later that thinks this is the greatest superhero movie or just thinks it's awesome, please defend yourself because I'm very excited to hear.
Yeah, if anybody is watching or listening and they worked on the film,
we apologize.
I'm sorry.
We apologize. There are in hindsight. Here's the thing. I saw this. We'll get into this first. When we first saw it, I saw it on this is my Blu-ray. I own it. But that doesn't mean anything. I buy everything. I buy everything comic book, no matter what it is. I bought this for like $8 or something, and I remember watching it on. Just one random afternoon after I'd heard in theaters how bad it was. Yeah. And I was like, how bad could this possibly be? And to be honest, when I first saw it, I had fun because it was just ridiculous, and I had such low expectations that I was like, it's kind of cool. He's like Kilrog and all this stuff and all these fun Green Lantern Corps, and Sinestro kind of looks like Vincent Price with pink makeup on and a giant forehead, but I'm down. I'm okay with it, and Blake Lively's always really cute, and she looks great as a brunette.
She looks awesome.
She looks awesome. And Ryan Reynolds at the time, this was kind of one of his bigger roles through that gap there, and I always liked Ryan Reynolds, but now after seeing Deadpool, you realize the perfect Ryan Reynolds movie. So when you see this, you're like, ugh. Yeah. Because my biggest problem watching it a second time is it can't decide if it wants to be serious or fun, or kind of goofy. It rides this weird line between the two, and it never figures out its tone. And if it just would have made it, if they would have taken a similar tone to Guardians of the Galaxy, which had a talking raccoon and a talking, albeit one word, a talking tree, then
talking tree nonetheless.
It works because they make it kind of silly
in
the realm of the world
and stuck in the middle.
This movie had like 90s humor to it, like bad.
I actually thought as I'm watching it, I was like, this seems like something that was either early 90s or
it's like a
late
shitty
80s
90s superhero movie.
Yeah, it was very odd, especially because it seems like it was made so long ago. It was like 2011.
It wasn't that long ago.
I mean,
5 years ago.
There's so many things about it. I mean, we'll get into this obviously, but even just like looking at, for example, Parallax. First time you see Parallax, it's like watching the first Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah, and he looks so unintimidating when he's just chilling out there frozen.
I know.
He's like. He really looks like After Effects versions from unrendered stuff from Ghostbusters 2, where they're just like, man, we have this lying around. Now, when did you first see this movie?
I'll be honest, Ben, this is the first time I've seen it.
Oh!
Because...
Now, what were you thinking going into it versus... Oh, sorry, I interrupted you, though. Because, why?
This answers your question too. I think depending on the movie, typically I try to watch movies opening weekend, especially big studio films. But depending on the movie, occasionally, sometimes if it's getting any kind of hype, good or bad, I just wait a really long time to let that die out so I can make up my own mind about it. This was one where I was like, I'm going to wait 5 years to watch it for the first time. And it was pretty much exactly what I expected it to be.
Yeah.
I tried to go at it with an open mind.
Was there anything you liked about it?
There was a thing or two.
There were things.
Definitely. But I will say, this makes me appreciate some other superhero movies a lot more.
I mean, this makes Batman vs. Superman look like the Citizen Kane of superhero movies.
Yes.
And I am, just for fans out there who got mad because I complained about it last week, I'm watching it again tomorrow in IMAX to give it another go. I've been reading some other, pro feelings on it, so I can give it an open mind, and I'm going to give it an open mind, and then I'll share with you on Twitter how I feel, and we won't talk about it on the show anymore because it divides audiences, where people get very pissed either way. Either way.
I will say I saw it a second time, and I recommend if you are going to go see it for a first or second or third or however many times. I recommend Dolby Atmos.
Guilty Movie Pleasures is sponsored by Dolby Atmos today.
Rocking your shit out with sound since 1994.
See what
Dolby
I did there?
Atmos.
I tried to do like a Dolby Atmos thing. Yeah.
I like that.
So,
two channel sound. Yeah, left and right.
Yeah, it's pretty great. This movie has a lot of moments. Even watching it a second time, I'll be honest, I don't hate this movie by any means. I don't hate it. There's other movies that I hate.
Yeah.
And this one is not one of them. There's a lot of charm to it. You can see where there's a lot of potential that if they had just kind of gone in one direction and really, like if this movie just focused more on the Green Lantern Corps, which the new one will when it comes out, because it's called Green Lantern Corps.
Who is playing the Green Lantern in the new one? I forget.
I don't know. I'll have to look that. Zach, let us know if you can find that. But if they would have focused
I don't think it's been announced.
I don't think it has.
I don't think so either, yeah.
This is just rumors at this point.
Because I like Hal Jordan's story and all, but I mean, they do the same thing so many movies do, where like his dad dies in the beginning in a plane crash, and then like 3 minutes later he's in a plane and they flash back to his dad dying again. I'm like, God damn it, I don't have that bad of attention span. I remember what happened 3 minutes ago.
I understand how that works.
I understand he's freaking out because he's thinking of his dad.
Yeah.
Or, here's an idea, don't show us that boring prologue opening and show it to us in the flashback while he's flying, so that we're like, oh, his dad died, and we're getting it in an action scene moment instead of in like a 20-minute drawn out.
That is obviously something that, like, as I get older, I don't like.
I can't stand it.
I don't like when things are explained to me. It really bothers me.
It drives me crazy because, well, you gotta. I guess it's because they're assuming that, like, I'd like to give the country the benefit of the doubt and the movie-going audience, but I know, given certain things that are happening in the world nowadays, that might be a stretch. But I'd like to think that people can understand and remember flashbacks from at least 3 minutes ago.
I would hope.
At least.
I would hope.
But
maybe they figured, okay, by this point, everybody went out to get popcorn. We got to catch that crowd again.
Everybody was late because they thought the previews were going to go longer and they missed the first 5 minutes. So let's remind them.
Gerald always misses at least 10 minutes of the movie.
Gerald is always late. Let's do
this one's for you.
Let's do the plot in under 3 minutes, and then we're going to dive into this green firestorm of ridiculousness, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. There are, like I said, a lot of things I like about this movie, and a lot that I have major problems with. So let's do the plot in 3 minutes. We're ready in 3. Oh, wait, I don't know. Are you ready, Zach?
We'll be ready in 5, 4, 3.
I'll start.
2, 1.
So we start off with this overlong voiceover about the intergalactic Peace Corps that is the Green Lantern Corps, and then they talk about how like they were forward. It's almost like Lord of the Rings, but in space. Where it's like we have these rings that were forward, so we can all be policing each of the sectors of the world and all this stuff.
3,600 sectors.
And then you had Parallax is the embodiment of fear, and there was I'm skipping ahead, but they introduced there's these 3 astronauts from somewhere. I don't know if they're Green Lantern Corps, but they're wearing astronaut suits, and they fall into the world world's largest hole.
When they
and
fall,
then,
they break into the rock.
Yep.
They break the rock, which apparently Parallax, as powerful as he couldn't break out of for 1,000 years.
It seems like a really bad setup by Purple Green
Parallax
Lantern.
gets out of there.
Yeah, okay. And so he escapes. He kills all those guys. Sucks their skeleton out. Then we show young baby Hal, and Hal is like, hey, Dad, I'm afraid. And he's like, son, it's okay to be afraid. Kind of like Spider-Man, where it's like, with great power comes great responsibility. This is like, with fear, it's okay as long as you overcome it. And they just beat you over the head 100 times in the movie about, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be afraid. It's like an after-school special.
Yeah.
Anyways, Dad does this really dangerous test flight. Boom, plane explodes. Oh, fuck, my dad's dead. Oh, no, maybe he's safe. And then boom, no, he's really dead. Then we cut to, hey, I'm Hal Jordan. I'm a womanizing douche. And then I'm going to go be late to this test. And then I'm going to fuck up millions of dollars of plane equipment in this drone test.
Yeah.
And Blake Lively's going to be like, hey, don't do that. Now your point. You're off to you, Cam.
But I proved a point. I crashed a $4 million plane. So anyways, he tries to quit. Like you said, Blake Lively says, hey, you can't quit. We're introduced to Dr. Hammond. Dr. Hammond.
Hector Hammond,
big forehead as I call him.
He's got a bigger forehead than me.
Before the morphing happened, big forehead.
That's a lot.
He
I have a
gets
huge
to inspect
forehead.
the alien life form, which, by the way, it crashed shortly after Hal quit his job.
Yep.
There's a pink dude in a ship, and he says, he must choose. The ring goes and gets Hal, brings him there. So Dr. Hammond, he's inspecting this body out in the lab. That's where Angela Bassett is. Some goo sprays him in the face.
Splinter.
Back to you, Ben.
Yellow Splinter. Hector Hammond starts, I'm feeling kind of weird. Maybe I ate some bad tuna. And then they basically they start building up like Green Lantern's like, Hal Jordan's trying to figure out his power. How do I do this? And then
he has a suit attached.
He's getting jumped. Yeah, he's getting jumped in an alley, and he's like, hey, get back! And he punches them all, and one guy crashes through a brick wall. Pretty sure he's dead.
Yeah.
And then he zooms up to Oa, where he meets the Green Lantern Corps. And you meet Pink Vincent Price. You meet Green Mile Warthog guy. You meet
Michael Clark Warthog.
Fish lady. And then you Fish dude. And then Jesus Christ, I'm not even halfway through the movie.
We got this.
They train him and all this cool and all this stuff, and he thinks things are gonna be really cool. And then Parallax is coming, and he's coming, and and then Hector
Sinestro's going, hey, we can beat Parallax by using the
if we just harness
the
fear.
ring.
And then Hector Hammond starts turning. Weirdly, he just starts morphing into a giant testicle. He's just a giant ball head, one left testicle head.
And he can control everything.
And then he's like, and then they start fighting. He can control everything. He's like Jean Grey with a testicle head. And then Hal Jordan and him fight. And then Parallax comes and he's like, yo, dude, you failed me. And then Parallax tries to eat, and then just planes, and then the sun, and then Parallax is burned up by the sun, and Green Lantern's like, what up?
Yes.
I specifically remember when Green Lantern in the end went, what up?
Parallax.
Hey, that was pretty.
Gets killed by the sun.
That was pretty. We actually hit most of the details of the movie.
The one we missed.
Please. I thought my head was gonna explode.
Was when they learn how to fly, and it's like Harry Potter on his broom.
Oh yeah. It's totally like a Quidditch match.
Have you seen Zootopia yet?
No, I need to.
There's a song in Zootopia Shakira does, and I just heard that song while I was watching.
How does it go? Can you sing it?
It's like giant.
See, this.
That's what I heard when they're flying around the planet.
And that's the moments in this movie that are really bother me is when it feels more like a kid's movie.
Yes.
When it's like, it's magical to fly and it just feels like
your enemies with yellow.
Hey guys, don't be afraid. It's just like it feels.
Big head's gonna be dead.
It's just really. They beat you over the head with the message of like, I get that superhero movies all good superhero movies have some sort of lesson the hero learns, but Jesus Christ, we're not idiots. We know that it's just like, how many times does Hal Jordan have to be like, I can't do it, I'm afraid, and then he quits, and it's like, who out there in the audience, if you got flown up to space, and they're like, yo, dude, you want to do this? Anything you think of can come out of this ring. And you're like, fucking Gatling gun, shield, swords. And then you're like, man, I'm embarrassed. I'm going to quit. I'd be like, I don't care how embarrassed I am. Of course I'm going to have a learning curve. I just figured out that there's 6,000 other races.
Across the galaxy. There's 3,600
Cut yourself a break,
sectors
man.
in the universe.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is a very even number.
Come on.
I'm really glad that worked out that way mathematically. Your sector largest than any of the others.
It was 3,602, and then they're just like, get those two out of here. We need it to be even.
Fuck those two sectors.
Nope.
We don't need those.
That's what just drives me crazy, though, is like, because I get that for dramatic purpose, they're like, I gotta quit, I can't do this, and then Blake Lively is like, you quit everything. And I'm like, God, she's beautiful, why are you quitting her? I mean, you're quitting everything that's awesome in your life.
Also, why you wanna quit? Take the ring away, somebody.
Yeah.
Take the ring away from this ungrateful bastard. How about you just take the ring and create another Parallax to fight Parallax?
Why?
In your mind.
Exactly. And why isn't this more like The Last Starfighter, where it's like, oh shit, I got this awesome opportunity, let's do this, and show his progression instead of just having him go back and forth so much. I'd rather just see him learn how to be a Green Lantern instead of learn how to be whiny and eventually not be whiny.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the movie. But there are some super fun moments, like any of the stuff with the ring and the things they come up with are so ridiculously awesome. Like
that must have been so much fun as a writer on this film.
I mean,
Just think like the race car track.
The race car track is probably the most ridiculous moment ever, but it's awesome.
It's great.
Because it's hilarious. And you know what? I forgive it because it's fun and it's a silly moment, but it's kind of campy and it works. And then
to me, like that has always been the appeal of the Green Lantern.
Yes,
and that's what makes him different than just like
Yeah.
Superman, who can also beat things.
But that's why the story scenes in between drag it down so much. Because if you just had I could watch 2 hours of him just coming up with things with his ring. I could have just watched 2 hours of him and the Green Lantern Corps just being like, hey, what's up, man?
I wanted to see him like invent different vehicles to get him to work every day and shit like that.
What I thought was the Green Lantern ring, when they were sparring with each other, when Sinestro and him were sparring, to me it felt like the world's most elaborate game of rock, paper, scissors, where it was just like, hey, you
so
bring this
true.
out, I bring out Gatling gun. Well, Gatling gun beats shield. Well, guess what? Giant, I don't even remember all the stuff. That springs underneath a semi-truck, leads to Gatling gun, which then beats Parallax. Nope, not really, because then we got. It's just like I don't understand.
I don't think, by the way, I was thinking about this when I was watching that. I
feel like
would
it
not be
overheated.
quick enough if I was the Green Lantern.
Oh, no.
Thinking of these things.
No, because I just probably keep thinking of like, if I was hungry, I'd be like, pizza. No, shit.
Frisbee.
Lightsaber. No, I can't do that. Wrong franchise.
Jumping jack. Yo-yo.
Yo-yo.
You know what? He's like the Inspector Gadget of superheroes.
He is. Go Gadget ring, man.
That's
just
exactly,
all day.
It's the same thing now that I think about it.
It is. Now, here's the question I have for you. When he makes these green weapons, like he makes the green machine gun, and then real bullet shells come out of it.
Yeah.
I'm confused by that.
It's science.
Is it? It's the OA science?
Mathematically speaking.
Mathematically speaking.
You know. OA.
OA times the power of green equals real bullets.
That is true. I was thinking
It's
about
super
that
confusing.
whenever he's fighting, what's his face at the end?
And then he has a flamethrower that
and
shoots real flames?
Should be green flame.
Why isn't it all green flames?
But then, the argument then could be, does the green stuff actually affect people?
That's the thing I'm super... And if anybody in the audience knows what the real... Is it just like... Is it basically just different variations on the same power, just like dressed differently? Like, like if you punch somebody with a giant Green Lantern fist, is it the same thing as if you hit him with a giant Green Lantern plane? Or does the impact change?
Or is it just the visual? Yeah.
Is it just Are you just
it could be
like,
just the visual?
Like doing a real cool magic trick, like hey bad guys. I don't.
You know,
I feel like it would be the same force of impact with no matter what, because it's still the same ring.
This is my favorite part about discussing movies like this. I find, like, I've had conversations with friends, like we were watching Transformers, right?
Oh, God.
A semi-truck just transformed itself into a humanoid robot. And, you know, he'll knock over a car that hits a fire hydrant, and the water stream goes super high in the air. And then they go, that would never happen. It's like, well, yeah. The 18-wheeler would never talk either. Yeah. That's what I love about things. It's like, well, the bullets weren't real.
Yeah, I mean, let's just talk. I get that it's not real, but I like consistency in the rules of my worlds.
Yes, that's true.
And that's where I'm just wondering, in the rules of this world, what difference, like, a plane makes versus a fist, because that fist seems pretty powerful when it punches Parallax into the sun in the end.
Here
comes the sun, diddle-diddle. Here comes the sun, and Parallax screams.
It's all right.
Wow! So, wait, I want to play Parallax's first line, the "Are you afraid?"
Yes.
Or "You're afraid?" Because this is the intro to him, and like we said, he looks like a Ghostbusters 2 leftover effect. Can we play "You're afraid"?
I like that he didn't ask them.
Nope, he just states, "You're afraid." Good. And then he goes,
and then he's like,
and apparently Parallax's power, I didn't realize that our fear is embodied by a yellow skeleton inside of us.
Yes, obviously.
So clearly, your fear is a yellow skeleton, and he just sucks yellow skeletons out of everybody. Who are these astronauts in the beginning? I guess we don't really need to know, but they just like... They crash land. They set up that they crash land on this planet, and then they're like, "Dip-doo, gotta figure out an outpost." Whoa! We fall down this. How is the planet structurally that unsound that they can fall through and then fall like 300 feet?
Well,
and
we
then
have
Parallax,
a lot
like we
of
said.
things we have yet to discover about planets, Ben.
Hey, maybe you're right.
Maybe that was the paper mache
The
planet.
paper mache planet.
They just fell through the crater.
The Purple Lantern should have really thought before imprisoning Parallax in the paper mache planet.
He was thinking, hey, you know what? We should plant him there, make his cage precariously easy to open.
Yeah.
And
otherwise,
I'm sure everything will be fine.
Otherwise, what else do we have to do? I mean, police work in the galaxy is boring if Parallax isn't around. Which we find out the background of Parallax is he used to be a guardian who was like, guys, if we harness fear, it's better than... This is another... they beat you over the head with this. Where fear versus will, because will is the green power. And so you're just like... It's like a even more overwrought version of the Infinity Stones in the Marvel Universe, where it's just like, oh my God, we get it. Okay, fear versus will. Which will win? It's just like... Just learn. Fear is okay. If you combine fear with will, then you get stronger in your will. But anyway, so he...
But then you're also just using fear.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't get it.
So he gets consumed by fear, and apparently what that means is you turn into a giant shit cloud. Basically, it turns into a giant like
it looked like
dirty
the product
fart cloud.
of what we saw several weeks ago when we covered Twister.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Yeah,
but with a face.
Yeah, it's a shit cloud with a face.
Yeah,
with a shit cloud with a face. Hashtag shit cloud with a face.
I wish they had an extra say that.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
On Earth. Oh my God!
We're getting
shit cloud with a face. God.
So there are some typical Ryan Reynolds quotes in here. We have the pants off and fly planes. Can we play that one? This is where it's like basically Ryan Reynolds being Van Wilder as Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
I got it. I'm gonna make you look good up there. Don't worry. Okay, now let's get these pants off and fly some planes.
You know, Ben, I flew across the country a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Went to New York City for the first time. And I flew Alaska Airlines. They just started flying East Coast. And this flight attendant, it was her first day. It was her first day on the job. And she was telling me, because we were waiting, it was a bit delayed before we boarded the plane. And she was sharing, you know, I'm nervous about dishing out the food. I'm nervous about turbulence.
Yeah.
And I said, hey.
I got it. I'm gonna make you look good up there. Don't worry. Okay, now let's get these pants off and fly some planes.
You know, that's a
Take them off.
That's a better experience than I had, because I was on Spirit Airlines, and I don't know if you've ever flown on them, but Spirit sucks the spirit out of you, much like Parallax does in this movie. Because they nickel and dime you to death. They charge you for... I hadn't flown it in a while, but they charged me last time for a carry-on, $25 for a carry-on.
What?
$25 for a carry-on. You can only bring a bag that sits under your seat for free. You got to pay for a carry-on. You got to pay for a stowaway. You got to pay for water. You have to pay for peanuts.
For water?
If you want peanuts and snacks, you have to pay for it. And your seats are like, your knees are crammed up. And last time I get on, I was wearing just baggy pants, and I had some snacks in there, and they knew it. And they were like, you can't bring all those snacks on, sir. And I was like, well, they're in my pants. It's fine. They're in my pants. And they're like, well, you can't bring those pants on. And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. You're going to overcharge me for pants? And they're like, it's fine. You're going to be fine. Just don't worry. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm self-conscious about my hairy legs. I don't want to show anybody that. I don't want to wear shorts. I want to wear these pants. And then they said this.
I got it. I'm going to make you look good up there. Don't worry. Okay, now let's get these pants off and fly some planes.
And I had no choice, because there weren't any other flight options for that day.
This
so I took my
episode
pants
of
off.
Guilty Movie Pleasure sponsored by Spirit Airlines.
Sucks the spirit out of you like Parallax.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
That's what the captain said the first time I flew Spirit Airlines.
You're afraid. Good.
It's like, well, I don't like the sound of that, but here's $25.
Did you find it odd how emotional Hal Jordan gets when the purple alien dies? And I know he has a name, I just forget.
It's Perp.
It's Perps. It's like he's like crying, like and I get that, like, it's not that Ryan Reynolds' performance is bad in that moment, but I'm like, what?
I love the way he ran to the ship.
Yeah, like, because he has no fear.
As if it were Carol
Crash
landing.
Yeah.
He's running at this thing, pulls it out with No question.
Yeah, and then also his reaction to just Oa and everything is very like, oh, okay.
This is neat.
All right, I guess we're. I would have loved to. I don't need it beaten over my head like this is so strange, but just even a moment of recognition of like, holy shit.
Yes, I would have had to Green Lantern myself a toilet because I'd be shitting myself.
Yeah,
That's Abin Sur, by the way.
Abin Sur, thank you, Abin Sur. I like Perps better.
I think it's Perps.
I think Perps.
You
I
should
think
double-check
Abin Sir
that.
Perps. His last name's Perps. No, but that's the thing. He never has a moment of being like, "Whoa, this is weird." There's a fish talk. I mean, he says like a talking fish, but it's very like it's very.
It should have been.
It's very glib. It's just
A
very
talking fish.
Just give me a moment where it's a human moment of being like, "Huh?
Yeah.
What is happening here?"
Also, I kind of feel bad because I had fish.
You know,
earlier
yeah,
today.
He that's why he was so glib. He was like, I had sushi today. I feel really bad. So then
On Spirit Airlines.
So we have when Hector Hammond. Oh man, Peter Sarsgaard's performance. We could spend 45 minutes just talking on him.
Peter Sarsgaard.
He's like out of an awesome monster movie from the 40s.
Oh my god.
And I love it.
He was the saving grace for me in this
He's so
film.
fun.
I really enjoyed it.
Over the top and awesome. And he's living in the right world for this movie.
Absolutely.
Not every actor is, but he is.
Absolutely.
And when he first they take him, Vanessa, I'm blanking. Vanessa, what's it? Oh no, Angela Bassett.
who takes him
Who's
to
Vanessa? Angela Bassett.
She was the flight attendant on Spirit Airlines.
There we go. Yeah. She looks a lot like Angela Bassett, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Angela Bassett takes him down there, and he sees the alien, and he gets stabbed with the yellow. Before he gets stabbed with the yellow goo, his first reaction to the alien when he says hello is so good. Can we play hello?
Hello.
Can we play it just one more time because it's so romantic?
Hello.
I don't know if I was talking to you about this before the show that Adele said in a recent interview that because everybody thought it was Lionel Richie that inspired her with the "Hello, is it me you're looking for?" But actually it was Hector Hammond from Green Lantern because she didn't like the movie, but that moment made her cry in theaters because she was like, Hector Hammond can't relate to any human beings, and then he meets an alien who's dead, and he could have related to him, and it touched her so much. And that's what Hello from the Other Side. I must have called 1,000 times because Hector Hammond was calling up to space.
That's right. On the other, yeah.
And it was all just from that one moment in the theater when she saw
Hello.
From the Other Side.
You know, I actually saw that, or I read that interview as well. And she said after she watched the movie, got the inspiration for it, she went to the record executive. And the record executive said, I don't know about this one. It's a bit of a risk. I'm a tiny bit afraid. Adele said.
She has a much deeper voice in real life.
Yeah.
It's strange.
The accent kind of hides it.
Yeah, it's very unnerving.
Yeah.
So while he's trying to figure out the oath, we throw in another fun little Ryan Reynolds moment with the power of Grayskull. Can we play that?
Yeah.
By the power of Grayskull. What the hell?
You know, we covered Masters of Universe on this show a while ago, Josh and I. Yeah, and I remember loving it as a kid, but revisiting it as an adult, my initial reaction afterwards, I just was like, dead air, anytime, Zach. There we go. After watching Masters of the Universe as an adult, I was like, by the power of Grayskull.
By the power of Grayskull. What the hell?
You know, actually,
Zach, I'm dealing with a fart storm in the control room right now.
Zach,
so many
here's the
fart
thing.
storms.
I know you are afraid. Good. Of the fart.
By the power of Grayskull, what the hell? So I don't want to play his oath because it's too long, and his eyes turn really gothic white in it, and he suddenly just it's given to him, and yeah, that happens. But
it's weird.
It's super weird. I don't like the choice of his eyes being like White Walker white from Game of Thrones. It's strange.
It's a little possessed. And
another Ryan Reynolds moment is the face getting warmed up. This is when he gets jumped in the alley and he first discovers the power of the ring. Can we play that real quick? My face getting warmed up.
My face is just getting warmed up.
Yeah. That was actually a direct quote from Rocky II when he was fighting Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
And Apollo was whooping the shit out of him, and Rocky stood up and he said,
My face is just getting warmed up.
The first time I flew Spirit Airlines, they asked me if I wanted some peanuts, and I felt bad because I didn't want to
have to pay.
Seem like a cheapskate.
Yeah, but it's $1.
So I had to come up with a good excuse, and I just said,
My face is just getting warmed up.
and I said, I just can't eat them right now.
You know, I used to, when I was younger, I didn't realize the dangers of holding your breath underwater in a hot tub.
Yeah, that's true.
And it probably explains a lot of my issues as an adult. Just a lot of hot water submersion. But I would try and hold my breath under there, and my mom would always grab me out of there and be like, Ben, you can't.
My face is just getting warmed up.
Sure, yep. Then I'd just be like, Mom, my face is just getting warmed up. Go easy on me.
I used to be in a band.
I love how all the other sound clips were a little delayed, and that one was like, I got it, guys.
I used to be in
you're
a
my hero.
band called Hot Water Submerging.
That fart cloud is really. Oh yeah, keep going.
And our first album was actually called
My face is just getting warmed up.
Hot Water Submerging.
It was a very good track.
It was. How did it go? Do you remember the chorus? I think it was a really catchy chorus. Can you sing it for us right now? This is what we call throwing your co-host under the bus. Yeah.
You're taking a dip. In the
Taking
water.
in the water.
And my face is getting warmed up.
That's a great chorus.
That's it.
Can you repeat that?
No, because I forgot how it started. I just forgot.
I think you said
how
it's
it
cold
started.
outside. I'm taking a dip.
When
Put my
you're
face in the water.
Fart clouding in the booth. Your face is getting warmed up.
So now there's a lot of stuff that happens where Peter Sarsgaard apparently, like we said in the beginning, becomes like the Jean Grey of villains, where suddenly getting stung by this yellow goo just makes him be able to control everything. And when his dad, who favors Hal over Hector, he's like, he gets off in his helicopter and his smug asshole, and he's like, "See you later, guys. I'm Tim Robbins. It's been fun being in this movie."
Bye-bye.
And then, boom, Hector makes the beer keg cap go off, shoot into the helicopter propeller, and then it's spinning wildly out of control.
Yes.
And then Green Lantern does the Micro Machines or Hot Wheels racetrack.
Which is fucking awesome.
How did they... I want to know how many options they ran through before coming into, guys, we put the helicopter onto a car... Like it's the top of the car and the wheels are the green part. And then when it keeps going out of control, we don't make the car brake. No. We make it go up a ramp and then to safety. How did they do that? I wonder
And by the way, there's a break in the track.
Yep, there's a break in the track. Why?
We got to add a second track.
Because his will isn't strong enough yet. He can't do a
There's
full
too
loop-de-loop.
much fear.
He's too much fear. He can't do a full loop-de-loop. So that's one of my rock, paper, scissors where race car beats helicopter crashing and track beats race car crashing. That's one of those moments.
I would like to think, I could be very wrong, but I would like to think that helicopters are made better to be taken down.
Yeah.
They're taken down by a beer tap?
I think they could have just made a really rocky landing. Like, I don't think... And how long does it take Hal to get out there? The helicopter crashes, mows through the party, and somehow misses every guest.
Yeah.
While Hal is just like hanging out, just hanging out. How do I get this ring to work? That was a deleted scene. He was singing.
He was
that.
listening to the latest album
Yeah,
from Hot Water
Submerge. Yeah, I know we have only like 15 minutes left. I don't know. Who cares? But
we have an amount of time left.
We have an amount of time left, and I want to get to the horror movie screen that Hector lets rip.
Yes.
When Hector, so after this moment, you're like, wow, Hector's being kind of weird. He's telepathic. Out of nowhere, they don't build up to this. Like, he's not changing gradually physically. It's just out of nowhere. Giant forehead, and I'm allowed to say that because I have a massive forehead.
I do too. We're good.
Giant forehead goes from normal giant forehead to testicle forehead in one scene while he's screaming. He just turns into this monster out of nowhere with no build-up, and this scream happens, and it's one of my favorite screams in cinema history. Can we play it? You know, not to get too toilet humor on us, but I went to a wine and cheese tasting, and I had a whole lot of cheese. Lots of cheese. And I don't know, some people, I might be lactose intolerant, I'm not sure what it is, but I was stopped up for days.
Yeah.
And finally, when I was finally able to have a nice, decent number 2 again, my wife was so worried because I had locked the door, and from the bathroom, all she heard was... Oh, it even sounds like it. it's so much grosser than I meant it to be. That's so.
I like the second part of that scream, by the way. It goes from like, to like, it's like a velociraptor.
That happens a lot on this show.
God.
Every movie just keeps reusing the velociraptor yell.
It's exactly what I mean. When we first launched the band a few months back, How Ours Emerged, we thought that album was going to go platinum. And they told us it didn't work. It did not work for you.
I get it,
And this
man.
is exactly how I reacted.
Scream. I'll just do it.
There's no possible way that is all Alexander Skarsgård, right?
Peter
there
Sarsgaard.
has to be, or that's what I meant. There has to be,
Right? Yeah.
there has to be a.
Have to come on. I mean, otherwise that
woman
guy's
in
got
there,
some
right?
pipes.
Yes.
Throughout the movie, I will just play it now because it's so fun. Another Hector scream. We have a clip where he just loves the high-pitched scream in this, and every time it made me laugh so hard, and I loved it. Can we play the other Hector scream? This is in the end when Parallax is sucking his fear skeleton out of him. Can we play that real quick?
Second round
Every
against
time,
me.
every
Can we get
time.
that one more time? That's the best part. It's like,
You think it's done? Nope. Man, I want to read up if that's his real
goddamn
scream.
good.
You know what? This movie gets that right, and it also gets the reaction from Carol when she first because Hal comes to Carol.
This was great. I love this part.
I love this part because I actually bought their relationship, and I like their relationship, even though some of their scenes were a little boringly written. I like the chemistry between the two of them. Obviously, they got married afterwards, so they had good chemistry. But when he shows up and he's like, "Hello, miss, I'm here," and her reaction, Carol knows it's Hal. I think is what I called the clip. Can we play that?
Hal?
Miss.
Hal? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, Hal!
How did you know it was me?
What do you mean? I've known you my whole life. I've seen you naked. You don't think I would recognize you because I can't see your cheekbones?
That is brilliant right
Yes.
there. That moment is what I wanted more of in the movie. Like his goofy friend doesn't work for me because he's not goofy enough. He's just kind of he's just
Also seems 20 years younger than him, which is kind of odd.
You need to have if you already have a kind of snarky lead with Ryan Reynolds, you need to have a much nerdier, much more just socially awkward friend or something. And he's just kind of like an extension of Ryan Reynolds. But Carol, this moment is great because this is a moment I have problems with in a lot of superhero movies, even Superman. I know that you just have to suspend the disbelief that nobody can see that it's Clark Kent. But this one, I love that it calls it out. I love that it calls it out and it's like, Hal, now I know because I can't see your cheekbone because it looks like Ryan Reynolds when he shows up at the party and he's like,
100%.
He's like, all right, I saved all of you. No one looks around and goes, Hal's not here. That guy looked like his hair is perfectly like Hal Jordan's. Sounded like Hal Jordan. No. But, I also give people the benefit of the doubt that in a circumstance that crazy, you're not going to be like, hey, I bet that's my friend.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the theory behind it always.
But I enjoyed it too because it very much reminded me of something that was kind of Deadpool-esque. It was a commentary
on comic books.
These kind of movies and the comic books in general, which I thought was great.
And I also like, did I talk about the Guardians and how... Yeah, this is a thought I had while watching it. So they go up to Oa and they visit the Guardians, which are these like big-headed kind of. They look like the comics. They did a lot of the design in this looks dead on from what little bit of the comics I've seen. And the Guardians are the Guardians are they're sitting up there just hanging out. Standing maybe or sitting with the longest robes. They're the tiniest bodies with just the longest robes on the tallest pillars.
I was kind of pretending that the pillars were their bodies.
I like that even more. That they just have an one leg. They're like a tripod. And I just wondered what do they do all day? Like these characters.
They guard.
These characters in the comics, like the Watcher in Marvel, and like. Any of these just like kind of mythical people that just sit around and I got an eyelash that just attacked my eye. I wish I had a Green Lantern to get it out. Eyelash tweezers. But yeah, it's just always so weird to me. I'm like, what do they do all day? Just sit there and are like, we cannot intervene because we see for billions of... They just...
Even though Parallax was created out of fear, we are also going to use fear, even though it didn't work the first time. Who
We can
knows?
see into
Maybe
the
it'll
future
work
of-
the second time.
Yes.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Fingers
it
crossed
works.
it works this time.
Also, how dare you tell us what to do? There are 3,600.
Fingers crossed. We look over 3,600 galaxies.
Do you have any idea what my workday looks like?
Do you have any idea
You
what my
human.
inbox is right now? Please stop emailing me your chain letters to guardian1@gmail.com.
Make the ring yellow, make the ring red, make it whatever color the fuck you want it to be. Get off of this planet.
Please.
Go!
Go away. I want to talk more about Peter Sarsgaard when he turns, because it's so drastic and it keeps getting worse, to where at the end he shows up full Stephen Hawking style in a wheelchair with like a giant... Now he has a testicle here and here, so like his face is like the skin in between two of them.
Yeah.
And he looks like a Garbage Pail Kid. He looks like a Garbage Pail Kid where he's like...
He does.
Hal. And when they fight... And then Hal gives him the ring, and then he's like, well, "You don't have the will," and Peter Sarsgaard gets knocked down.
You
Hector,
have to be chosen, stupid bitch.
Hector realizes it's Hal, and he has another amazing high moment. Can we play Hal high?
Hi.
Yes. Hi.
I think
I
that when-
love his performance.
I do too. I think when he got possessed by the alien or whatever you want to call it, he became very effeminate, which I
it's so
think is
fun.
an interesting quality.
Oh, it's so fun. Hi. You know, I don't even know how to improv riff on that. I just want to hear it again because it's so
Let's just
funny.
hear it
Can we
again.
play it again? Oh, so good. Oh, man. Oh, that makes me so happy, even if other parts of the movie doesn't.
then,
So then the shit cloud comes to Earth.
But when he gets the... Remember he puts the ring on for a second when you were talking
Yeah.
about that thing?
Yeah.
I think he might have had an orgasm. Well, he's a big testicle.
Yeah.
So I think he had an orgasm.
I had a green orgasm.
He literally was just like... But like a good...
I can't hear this whole thing again. We faded out. Oh man! So then we'll wrap this up by talking about the final scene where the giant shit cloud comes to Earth. And this is the biggest problem with this movie, is that you can't start off the first movie of a supposed franchise, and the first villain you bring up is a massive city-sized shit cloud with a head.
Planetary.
Like it looks like an octopus made out of dirt with a giant head, and it just doesn't work.
It's a tornado puss.
Because then there's no connection to, like, there's no connection to a villain. You're not like, oh man, we've built up this villain, we know the backstory. Like, DC has some of the coolest villains, like Darkseid and things like that.
Yeah.
And they, in the movies, they just, other than the Joker, they have a real hard time nailing him down, I feel like sometimes.
They really do. Everybody seems to be, with the exception of Parallax, because I was like, Parallax is a cloud, like you said, shit cloud.
Yeah.
But with the exception of Parallax, all of them that I've seen, I haven't read the comic books, but
No.
it just seemed like an extension of the Joker,
Yeah.
which I think is just like, I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's more interesting choices to be
Like,
made.
I would have rather this movie been about Sinestro being upset that Hal
Yeah.
was chosen, and then Sinestro goes and gets the yellow fear because he doesn't believe that the council is right anymore.
Yes.
And he kills the Guardians, and then Hal's like, oh shit, I just got introduced to this world, and the world is crumbling. Oa, as we know it, is gone. Because that's what they hint at the very end of the movie when Sinestro puts on the ring and turns yellow in the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
But that would have been a much more interesting first movie. You introduce the world, and then you say the world is, even the Green Lantern Corps has known it. And maybe even you have Sinestro killing Perps, whatever his name was.
Perps, yeah, somebody.
You have him kill him in the beginning instead of this cloud that doesn't matter, Parallax. And then the whole time we're watching Sinestro train Hal and knowing it's so much more Shakespearean in that way, where it's like we're watching him be trained by the person who's going to betray the Guardians. And you're like, okay, is he testing him to see if he's going to join his side in the revolt? It would have been so much more interesting if this was all around Sinestro becoming a bad guy.
I completely agree.
How cool would that have been?
Even when we saw Parallax come to Earth and you see him going through the cities and people are like running and all that, you never really get a sense that there's a threat.
No.
Like,
I mean, it does like disintegrate a bunch of. By the way, it disintegrates a ton of people while Hal is just having kissy face with Carol. He's like, "I'll be okay," and meanwhile, oh, hey, hurry up! Fuck it, we're all gonna eat alive over here by a shit cloud!
It's fine. You don't gotta save everybody. You just gotta save most people.
I gotta say goodbye. Yeah.
But it does seem like Parallax is always after just like 2 people.
Yeah. It zooms in on that one nurse.
Yeah, it's like,
That drives me crazy when it's like hundreds of people have died, but Hal's like, not that one nurse, not that featured extra. Just like in Man of Steel. Not that family of 3 people in a train station. Fuck those thousands of other people. Not these people.
All I wanted in this movie was to see Kevin Costner like shake his head no and put his hand up and just get sucked up by a fucking
Parallax.
Yes.
That would have been amazing.
Don't
do it. So then, yeah.
For what it's worth, guys, on the subject of Parallax, some people in the chat roll are filling us in on the actual Parallax backstory,
which
is that the original Parallax was a corrupted Hal Jordan, according to
see, that's so much cooler.
Mizrak, and he rampaged across the universe, beating up everyone from Superman to the new god.
So he wasn't a shit cloud in the comics then. They just made this up for the movie?
I think it eventually gets there. Like you find out that like Parallax is this ancient being, and this is like step 2 or 3 of the Parallax story. The first one being grounded within Hal Jordan himself.
Thank you for that info.
Because this movie's so goofy as it is that. Thank you for the comment. This movie's so goofy as it is that if they just would have grounded it in some sort of not reality, because it's not reality, but grounded it in some sort of realistic character stakes.
Something, yeah.
That's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Whoever thought Shit Cloud, they skipped a bunch of steps. But so then he does this elaborate rock, paper, scissors game with Parallax, like we said, where the first thing he does is Parallax shoots his yellow fear at him. He says, "You're not gonna kill that maid." Nope. Makes a slingshot, shoots yellow back at him, then springs under a semi-truck, which you think that's enough. No.
Yeah.
Then Gatling gun, gets it in the crosshairs, boom, 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 blows it up in him.
Yeah.
Then, I think that's it, and then he holds, and he does his oath.
Yeah.
"Beware my Green Lantern's light," as Parallax is going, "I can taste your fear."
Yeah.
That's all Parallax
Brightest
does.
day,
In blackest night.
blackest night.
And Parallax is going,
No.
"I'm going to eat your fear. This is all I
Those who
say.
worship evil's
I'm the
might.
most one-dimensional villain in a superhero movie ever."
3 words.
And that's saying a lot. Have you seen the new Fantastic Four?
Fat Four Stick.
They had more dimensions than my character in this movie. And that means a lot.
That means so much.
Then he makes a little weird torpedo spin blade, cuts through the fart cloud.
Yeah.
And this makes Parallax go, "Aha! Screw all these thousands of people I'm gonna kill. I'm just after you, Hal Jordan."
Which always seemed like the case.
Of course. Yeah. So he flies up to space, and then he's like, the bigger you are, the faster you burn. He goes as close to the sun, and then it mirrors the opening with the drones and him. And he makes 2 fighter planes out of the Green Lantern ring that hold him back via this little bungee cord.
Yeah.
And Parallax, "I'm going to eat you." And then what does he do?
Flies by the sun.
Giant fist ring.
Fist ring?
He fists the shit out. That sounds really weird. I didn't mean it that way. He makes a giant fist out of his ring and punches Parallax for one last death.
I don't know why I don't remember that.
By that time in the movie, you just blacked out.
I really don't know why I don't remember that.
Because what happens is he's he's being held back by the planes, and he goes, I love that instead of just making the straps disappear, he unstraps the imaginary green planes, and then he goes, one last punch Parallax, and Parallax is like, and then
Which,
burns
by the way,
out.
how do you punch a cloud?
I don't know.
First of all. Second of all, nobody's ever tried putting him near a hot source of light.
I mean, just do that and just punching him into it.
Come on.
And then, of course, you think Hal's going to die. He's falling towards the sun. And then Sinestro and the rest of the Corps come up. And then they have a very Star Wars-like ending, like, we will figure this out. We're going to win. And then I never understand why they're just shooting their will up into space. Just like,
that is a waste of it. You just let all of the yellow people know exactly where y'all are at.
Exactly.
They're going to come, all 3,600 of you, they're going to come fuck you up.
And you have to recharge the ring, so you know it's like, oh, shit.
If there's anything about the Green Lantern that sucks, it's that. Shit, I forgot to charge it last night. We screwed.
You have to literally carry around a lantern and go, ding. Hold on, Parallax, hold on.
Got
my charging port.
Time out.
Charging port. Oh, man.
You go car.
Game on. And then, we have a little love scene, they're back. We didn't even talk about how ridiculous the CGI suit is, and we have 3 minutes now, so it's too late. But I don't understand why. Because the suit itself looks cool when it's glowing, but it doesn't need to be CGI. It could have been practical and then add the glowing effect.
Yes,
and the mask looks like Roger Rabbit. It looks like like something out of Roger Rabbit he's wearing the whole time. That's how angry I get. When I get really angry, I do this voice. I don't know what it means.
I suppose the reason behind having it was to make it disappear off and on his face.
That would have been an easy thing to just do during those.
That's what I mean.
It's so rough. But like I said, the action scenes I really dig. I like all the fun stuff with the ring.
Awesome.
If he was fighting Sinestro in the end, imagine Fear versus Will and them, and imagine Sinestro and him coming up with crazy cool things to fight each other as the third act of this movie, as the climactic battle, instead of just a cloud getting punched. And we would all be right now being like, this is the greatest Green Lantern movie we could ever imagine.
Yeah.
That would have fixed it. Sinestro as the villain.
I'm really looking forward to whenever this new one comes out, because I think they've
learned. I think they've learned.
They've learned.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see more like the Green.
I am too.
Lantern, the ring
and
stuff.
I know people are getting a little superhero fatigue. Maybe you're afraid of what we're gonna do next week. I don't know if you're afraid. Perhaps. Fear. If you're afraid, perhaps maybe. Well, guess what? Next week, can we announce it? Should we announce it? We're going to do Maximum Overdrive, because Cameron and I have never seen it. We've never seen it, and we've had a few fans say they want to see us talk about it. Yeah. And just the fact that it's about a comet passing near Earth and making all the cars and trucks kill humans sounds awesome to me. So Maximum Overdrive is next week. We're getting back into classic GMP territory. We're away from superheroes for a very long time. It's been a brutal run, and we're glad we did it. I enjoyed it.
I've learned a lot.
It's important to learn.
Yes,
it's important to learn.
I've learned about fear. I've learned
about will. Yeah. We learned a lot of things.
You smell funny.
Oh, that's Kilrog, by the way.
Kilrog.
It's not my fault. The air conditioning was off in here for a little while, and I got sweaty. That's why I smell funny right now. Yeah. Sorry, Kilrog.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, that's it for our show this week. We got to get out of here. But until next time, I'm at the Ben Begley on Twitter. You can also follow at Funhouse Mass on Twitter. FunhouseMassacreMovie.com. It's coming out June 7th. Like I've said before, I will shamelessly plug it again. If you have the physical copy of Netflix, just put it in your queue, and that'll help out a ton. You don't have to pay any money. It takes you 5 seconds, and it just boosts our ratings in Netflix. And if you want to buy it and you have some extra cash lying around, that's great too. No pressure. But it's on Amazon, and it'll be on video on demand too when it's coming out. Or ScreamFactory.com as well. But like I said, if you want to do the free route, just add it to your Netflix queue. Cameron, where can they find you?
At The Only Camshaft on Twitter and Instagram, and at Guilty Movie Guys on Twitter. And by the way, we're over 100 followers. Thank you very much, everybody.
We did it!
Yes. And subscribe to this one on iTunes. Subscribe to a couple of my others, AfterBuzz TV and Radio Millennial. And there it is.
And please keep commenting. We love the activity on Twitter. We try and just respond to everybody. Comment on the YouTube. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you're a super huge Green Lantern movie fan. Give us a dissertation on why. I really want to know.
Yeah.
And if you know the comics and how much they screwed up, let us know. We want to keep the dialogue going. We love you guys. You are some of the best fans in the podcast universe, and we appreciate you so much. Until next time, what is your guilty movie pleasure?
Oh, yeah.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Christian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.
no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might